Greetings viewers. In the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing a lot of activity surrounding a specific game. It's called Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, or GTA Trilogy for short. Now, I of course know about the notorious GTA franchise, since a lot of people have been asking me to talk about it. So I decided to take a look at it and see what it's like. And my first thought was, wow, these graphics look terrible. Is this really a game from 2021? But when I read more about it, I learned that it's actually a compilation of older games. So that is why. I've never heard of these games before, so I had no idea. And then I saw that people were talking about one game that was called San Andreas. It seems like it's the best game in the franchise and is considered a masterpiece. So with that knowledge in mind, I think it would be a good idea to take a look at this so-called masterpiece. Konnichiwa everyone, I'm SephirothSword57, and today we are taking an in-depth look at a game that represents and shows the best qualities of its franchise, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So let's get started. So the game starts with our main character, who seems to have been on vacation somewhere. His name is CJ, which isn't even a real name. Who does he think he is? 2B?
SephirothSword57 何か欲しかった?
Oh, no, don't worry 2B-chan. I was just talking to the viewers.
わかりました。失礼します。
So, his real name is actually Carl Johnson. So why do they call him CJ? I'm just gonna call him Carl from now on, so it doesn't get confusing. Then some police officers show up and takes Carl for a ride. From what I've gathered from this cutscene, Carl has killed some police officer, but he refused to admit it, and then they throw him out of the car.
Oh shit, here we go again.
What a foul mouth he has. That is not a fitting attitude for a hero. Already we have seen things in this game that have me worried. The game is desperately trying to put the police in a bad light as being violent and rude people to trick the viewers into rooting for Carl, despite the fact that he is the one in the wrong for killing someone. This is the game's first step in trying to make the players sympathize with people like Carl by putting us in his shoes. This isn't looking very good, but it will only get worse. Conveniently, Carl's bike is right here for us to ride, so that we can get to our first destination. So I arrived at Carl's home on Grove Street, and...
Stop it! What are you doing, Carl? Brian, stop it!
Quit it! Moms are here.
Carl's house seemed to be haunted by ghosts, but for some reason, nobody on Grove Street seems to care or talk about it at all. We are then introduced to the character of Big Smoke. Big Smoke? More like Big Joke. This character's name doesn't make any sense at all, since his character doesn't revolve around smoke, and he doesn't even have any smoke-related powers either. In fact, all the characters here have names that are weird and make no sense. The characters' names so far are CJ, of course, Big Smoke, Sweet, and Ryder, which is spelled wrong for some reason. I've already talked about Carl and Big Smoke, but let's talk about the other two. First we have Sweet, Carl's brother, which is an ironic name since he is always in a sour mood. He is the rudest out of all of them, always being loud and annoying, and he keeps bullying Carl, his own brother. Then we have Ryder, who is always swearing and saying bad words, and is of course also really mean to Carl. These three characters we've been introduced to on Grove Street are all dressed in green, and they are all rude, even to each other. This game is extremely lazy with their characters. You wanna know why? It's because they are all pretty much the same character. Imagine if in Final Fantasy VII everyone looked and acted exactly like Barret. Now, don't get me wrong, Barret is an amazing character and a great character design, but we don't need more of him. One is enough. Not only are all these 4 characters pretty much the same, but they are all unpleasant and rude to each other. No loyalty whatsoever. Oh! That sounded awful. Why did my Sony stereo system start playing? And that music was awful. Well, that was strange. We then start doing tasks for Ryder and other characters. But why are we doing this? Shouldn't we solve the ghost problem first? Did the game already forget about it?
And some pizza place keeps paying no raw hit up, man. Shit is beautiful. Teach the owner a lesson. The fucking Grove Street. You down?
What are they even saying? Half of the time when these characters talk, you can barely understand them. This is beyond just bad writing. It's all just nonsense. If it wasn't clear already, this game has a huge problem in its messaging. All the characters are rude, use foul language, and have unhealthy lifestyles. It's a game that encourages bad behaviors, like overeating.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
They are literally promoting unhealthy lifestyles. This would be you if you decide to take advice from this game. Just look at Ryder. He eats at the pizza place all the time because the guy at the register recognizes him. Fast food is very unhealthy for you. Don't be like Ryder. The whole cast of this game is extremely unlikable, and anyone normal shouldn't be charmed by them in the slightest. But the characters here do not only promote bad behavior and unhealthy lifestyles. I'm going to need to stop the review for a moment to talk about something very serious. Now, I consider myself to be a very enlightened individual who is tolerant to all kinds of people. But it's time to look at this objectively. It is games like this that make certain groups look very bad. And after you play them, you don't have a positive view on the people belonging to that group. I am personally even more disgusted by people like them after playing this game. All these people seem to do is harm others and beat up and steal from innocent people and sometimes even kill them. And they are even doing the same to each other, always shooting each other and don't know how to behave. They are loud and noisy, and society would be better off without these people, and they should be sent off somewhere else. And it's also statistically proven that they commit all the crimes. That's right, I'm talking about criminals. It is very clear that Rockstar, who made all these games, are actively promoting criminal activity. And games like this is an example of how they do it. The characters in GTA San Andreas are criminals, and by making the main character a criminal and making them look like people you want to associate with by playing along with the game's rules, most Western gamers would unknowingly slowly have their minds adapt a criminal's mindset. And this is proven with all the articles of violent children who commit crimes after playing the game. Just look at this. If any of you watching this is a parent, make sure to not let your child play these dangerous games. It will turn them into criminals. And that is why Rockstar Games make you play as the villain instead of the hero. What was that sound? Where did this come from? This is not mine. What? What? Let's just get back to the game. Playing this game made me realize how much better Japan is at making a game about the criminal underworld. Just look at the Ryuga Gotoku series, also known as the Yakuza series in the West. Let's compare the two. First we have GTA. The main characters here behave like violent apes, but it's not the fun kind of apes like in Ape Escape 3. No, it's the bad kind of apes you hear about on the news who escapes the zoo and rip people's faces off. There is no reason for any of them to behave the way they do. They just like being rude and hurting people. This is evident by the fact that when you play as Carl, you can just go outside and beat random people up and kill them.
Tough guy.
I feel bad for all the innocent NPCs living here who have to deal with all these Grove Street maniacs. Now let's look at the main character of the Yakuza series, Kiryu Kazuma, also known as the Dragon of Dojima and the fourth chairman of the Tojo clan. Kiryu is a Yakuza, a member of the organized crime syndicate of the same name that has been active in Japan ever since the 1700s during the Edo period. But while Kiryu is technically a criminal, he is still a good person with a deep sense of loyalty. This is also reflected in the gameplay of the Yakuza games. You can't attack innocent people on the street, because that is something Kiryu would never do. The only people you fight are other criminals who are trying to cause troubles for civilians. Kiryu is a very kind man and even helps people on the street when they are in trouble, despite the fact that he himself is in a much more difficult spot. Like when he runs into this child who got his game stolen by a criminal, and Kiryu just decides to run after them to get the game back for the young man. If this was Carl, Big Smoke, Sweet or Ryder, they would have said some foul words, pulled out a gun and shoot the child to death just for fun. It should be very clear who the better character is. But if you somehow prefer Carl over Kiryu, then I don't want anything to do with you, and you should turn yourself in before you hurt someone. Anyway, while doing quests for the other criminals, it became even more evident how terrible these characters are. It's even to the point where the gameplay has to suffer from it. For example, there is a point where you have to confront a drug dealer, but instead of resolving the problem peacefully using your wits, your only option is to beat him up. Why can't you use your words to solve conflict diplomatically? Nobunaga Oda and Tokugawa Ieyasu were able to unify Japan with words alone. This game depicts humans as disgusting creatures. GTA San Andreas is a dangerous game. The fact that there are people out there who buy this game and play them makes my skin crawl. The main cast of GTA San Andreas should all be locked up, and the same goes for the people over at Rockstar for making games that turn children into criminals. You thought I was gone forever, didn't you, SephirothSword57? You! That's right, bitch. It's me, SephirothSword57. Thank you for playing this awesome game, by the way. What is this? How did you manage? Come on, SephirothSword57. Don't you get it? I was trapped in San Andreas for some reason, and I didn't have enough energy to break out of it, yo. So the interference earlier? That's right, it was me, bitch. You playing San Andreas gave me more power, but it still wasn't enough for me to break out of the game. So, I'm going to have to use my new technique. It's time for you to feel what it's like to be imprisoned, SephirothSword57. Take this, bitch! Mafuba! No! Damn, it's finally nice to be free, yo. Let me out of here, Seph57. Huh, after what you did to me? Hell no. Let's have some fun with this. No, what are you doing? No, stop! Stop! Let's steal this bitch car. No, don't make me do this. Out of the way, bitches. Yo, this is fun as fuck, yo. Now let's beat up some innocent people, yo. You punk ass bitch, give me that paper. It's useless, bitch. You're trapped in GTA San Andreas forever, yo.